Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video I am going to share another live interview for the data engineering position. This was the L1 round and a general discussion with some technical questions. The questions is been asked based on the ETL and some data warehouse and SQL concepts. I am not familiar with ETL, so I was not able to answer the, his question properly, basically. But this interview may help you to prepare your interview because I just prepared and just attended this interview for the sake of knowledge, and I just wanted to know like where do I stand as a data engineer because this is a new position for me and there is a lot more thing to learn for me. So for me this interview was not that good, but you will get some sort of understanding from this interview, like how to prepare for answers, and if even if you don't know the answer, how you can answer the question. So think from that perspective, not from accuracy. So do not consider the answer from this video. Try to investigate your own answer, try to prepare your own answer, and best of luck for your interview. I'm going to share the interview now.
Can you start by introducing yourself?
Sure. So my name is Akshay. I have overall 5 years of experience. So the initial 1.5 year I worked in telecom and networking domain as a support engineer, and later on I started working as a data analyst in a Zinsar technology. So back in while working as a network support engineer, I used to work on Excel report and ad hoc report, like preparing an ad hoc report. So I got good understanding of the how to handle the Excel report specifically for the reporting purpose, and the same skill I used in my data analysis job, like back in Sensor. So I used to work with the different stakeholders across the globe and support the sales team for the order related issues. And after some time I got to chance to learn SQL and Tableau. So I used to prepare the SQL query for preparing the Tableau dashboard over there for inventory management, and do a certain validation as per the business rules. So I also used to work with the finance team for the approvals and exception for the different business scenarios where the customer asked for the consumption of licenses what they had done in the order. So that kind of analysis I had done, and in my current organization also the similar kind of work I do. Like I develop the Tableau dashboard right from the scratch, like preparing the SQL query, SQL view, and do data validation with the backend team, and do implement the new SQL view into the Oracle, and prepare the Tableau dashboard for the same view in the Tableau and publish it to the Tableau server. And if the requirement changes, I do work on the existing Tableau dashboard for the performance optimization, also in the SQL query, like to reduce the data volume, like unused data I remove from the SQL query and try to see how the Tableau dashboard is performing with the updated SQL query. So that kind of work I am currently doing, and here also I'm getting exposure to work on the Ultrix. It is a ETL tool. So I'm not expert into the Ultrix, but I'm learning it. So yeah, in nutshell, this is what I'm doing.
So, what you would like to be, or what is your main career aspiration?
My career aspiration is like more into the data scientist. Like I want to become a data scientist. It is a short term, a short term goal for me. Like want to more involve into the data related activities and learn more into machine learning and how I can grow further, like something like this.
Okay, okay. And so, at the moment, you're more into the data engineering side of it, sort of.
My title is data engineer, but as per my work history, they gave me initial role as to develop a BI reports at the moment. Maybe in the next time, or maybe in coming quarter they may assign me some more technical work related to data engineering, like data processing or developing the ETL pipeline, something like that.
Okay. So can you elaborate on one project that you have done with
Yeah,
data? How you went about, the entire. So what was the objective or requirements for the project? How did you approach it? What was your activity or your role in it? And
yeah,
how
yeah.
did you deliver?
Yeah, I would like to share the current project that I am working on. So here, the business user is looking out for the gap into the transactions. Like they are getting the revenues from different country based on the transactions, and they just want to identify in which area they are lagging. They are losing the revenue, incoming revenue for their current business model. So for that perspective, I just gathered the information, like what kind of different transactions happening and what are the different projects that running on, and how the revenue is generating from the different sources, like. And to identify that, it is pre-built infrastructure, like they do have the sophisticated data warehouses where the each data for the each region is being stored. So I had designed the diagram where the relevant field can be collected on single point or single data warehouse, where we can use the relevant field to prepare the respective report. So I wrote the SQL query to call out relevant fields from the different data sources basically. And based on that output, we had identified some ratios, like in which area the transaction is low in terms of volume and which area it is high. And yeah, later on they are going to work with the machine learning engineer to implement a relevant data model. That is another part, but I am currently developing the Tableau dashboard for them so that they can get a brief understanding of the data itself, like the pattern of the data itself, like in which quarter it was high and what would be the uh, what we can say, the output in upcoming quarter. Prediction will be in upcoming quarter, like something like that I'm doing.
So how you did that prediction, or they want to do it? You're saying.
I had did it is a part of requirement actually. So I had wrote the SQL query on that, and currently it is under validation. Like the whatever output I'm getting through the SQL, currently they are cross validating it with their actual metrics, whether that figures are matching or not. So once it is confirmed, I will be able to proceed with the actual Tableau dashboard. So I had
Okay.
prepared the prototype for the same dashboard, like a kind of dummy dashboard based on the subset of actual data. So that is design is finalized, only they are cross validating the figures, like whatever amount or whatever ratios are reflecting into the query, it is close to their matrix or not.
Okay. 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 And so, if you have to rate yourself on SQL querying ability
Mhm.
on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the highest, so what will you rate yourself as?
I would rate myself 8 because like as if I look from the data science or data preparation point of view, as a data analysis point of view, I am pretty comfortable to write sub queries, different case statements, or build a quick logic within the SQL. But I'm not more into the developing the backend, like SQL developer kind of thing. So I am not that familiar with the store procedures or maintaining the SQL servers. So that is not much clear to me. That's why I would rate 8.
But views and joins and
Yeah, that is
all
handy.
those you are
Yeah,
very comfortable.
yeah,
Okay. So, are you familiar with ETL concepts, extraction, transformation, and loading?
yeah, pretty much, like as
So,
currently. Yeah, yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
what are measures? What is the dimension? What is the fact?
Not familiar with the fact, but the measures is more of the numerical data, and dimension is more into the category. We can easily categorize, or we can easily map a hierarchy. So that
No,
will
I think no.
comes
I
that will
think
comes into the measure, sorry, and the dimension will be a numerical data, sorry.
not necessarily. Okay,
Yeah,
fine. So dimension is the parameter that so measure is the parameter that you are measuring.
yeah,
Dimension is the dimension against which you are measuring. It
exactly,
could be a time column, a date column,
exactly,
weekly,
yeah,
monthly. Okay, and the fact is actually the value at for that time measure on that at that dimension. Okay,
got
that's
it.
that's the relation. And then so what is normalization and denormalization?
Normalization, like the preparing the data to be able to visualize quickly or to manipulate the data. I think there are five types of normalization. It is part of theory, and denormalization, like, is it same but moving one step back from normalized data.
So what is exactly that? So more than theory, I want to understand is
Yeah,
practical impact.
it is hard to recall at the moment, uh, but I
So
will
let's
go through.
assume
Mhm.
assume that you're developing a school software for a school. Okay,
Okay.
there are teachers, there are students, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then the software expectation is simple. You want to have a software which where you will maintain the list of classes, first standard, second standard, 10th standard, divisions 1A, 2B, 3A. For
Yeah,
every class, you will have one or more teachers based on the subjects, and then you will have students for every class, right?
correct.
You have to maintain the register of students, teachers, and all. How will you design the data model for this?
I will first identify the relevant fields. Like if it is a class, then the class names under like first class, second class, up to 10th class, and then there will be separate field for the teachers for their specialization also. Like for this subject, this will be the teacher. Like in column, like teacher name, name of the teacher, then subject, names of the subject, and respectively I will identify it, and it I will try to create the model, like entity relationship diagram, to to prepare a data set for this particular,
Okay.
and I will define the data types also. The, like if student, then age of the student, or birth date, that will be date type. So data definition will be defined.
Okay. Uh, so, but tell me one thing.
Mm-hmm.
For student or teacher, some of the details would be same, right? Like first name, last name,
Yeah,
address, contact number. How will you maintain that?
I will try to identify the column name or the field which is unique, as I will define it as a primary key uh, for the for the student name and teacher name. So it will be identified separately for the two different tables. Like
Yeah. Uh, so that separate table probably like a person table, right?
correct, person table, like teacher table will be different,
And
and
and person table will have a primary key which you will use as a foreign key in student as well as in
teachers table.
teachers.
Yeah,
Now, this type of thing,
I
what
think
is this? This is
this is
normalized or denormalized?
this is normalization.
Okay. Now, I want to have a report for different teachers
Mm-hmm.
or students or students reports
It's
related to their marks, etc. From a reporting perspective, I want to denormalize. How will you denormalize that?
Can you repeat the question? Actually, lost your voice in between.
How will you denormalize the data set, the
Mm-hmm.
student's data set,
Mm-hmm.
so that it allows you to report?
In the student data set, I will use teachers data, like actually I
No,
just
no.
I'm little confused. Can you just elaborate little bit so I can?
Sure, no problem.
Mhm.
So when you are reporting, right?
Okay.
In a reporting, when you are storing and doing CRUD operations,
Mm-hmm.
data should be normalized.
Correct.
Okay, to optimize on the storage. Otherwise, you have to have repetitive fields. However, when you are reporting, because you need performance and fast access to information, you have
Mm-hmm.
another layer of schema, you call it data cubes or data whatever, which is nothing but a denormalized view of the data that you want to show in the report.
Okay.
So for denormalization of students which had a person ID in the column, what will you replace that with?
Person ID will be replaced with the uh, to denormalize, like person ID in the teachers table, maybe.
No.
Then I need to look back. I'm not sure at the moment. Sorry.
Okay, that's fine. So, okay, and coming to um, what, let's assume you want to have data for data science or AI ML modeling
Mm-hmm.
later. I know you have not done that yet,
Mm-hmm.
but if you get the data and if you realize that some of the data, there are gaps in the data, if
Mm-hmm.
it's a time series, you know what is a time series data?
Yeah.
What is a time series data?
The data which is directly proportion with the real time scenario, like monthly, daily, or weekly. So it changes with the time, and we
It
can.
changes with time. Not proportional, but it changes with time.
Yeah.
So, what is the typical property of a time series data?
Typical property. I'm not sure at the.
Typical, it always has a timestamp attached to it.
Yeah, time will be the same. Time parameter will be there for that particular value as a dependent variable.
Yes, and against that you have the parameter value which is varying.
Yeah.
Okay, so every time value. Now let's assume you get a data and you see there are gaps in the time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's assume you are monitoring a machine.
Mm-hmm.
Machine is sending a temperature data for every 1 minute. Okay, now, and all of a sudden, because there is loss of connectivity or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
there is a gap of about 1.5 hours during the day when the data is not logged.
Okay.
Okay, what you think would be required to fill, and then you want to build models for hourly level predictions or something, and you realize that data is missing.
Yeah.
What all options you have, or how will you handle this situation
Okay.
so that it becomes usable data set?
So at very first place, I will try to understand the pattern, like how it is being varied from historical data. Like if it is a gap for 1 hour, then I will check, like for historical data, like for 1 hour or 2 hour historical past data, like how it varied, and based on that I would suggest to go with the average of that data in the missing timeline, like considering the average value for that particular parameter for that missing timeline, and to build that model. And second thing is, like based on requirement, if the business model or the prototype is not allowing to consider the average, and better to drop, but dropping will not help much, but average will be help up to certain extent to build a model.
Okay, okay. Um, okay. Now let me come to the BI side of it. You have used Power BI and some sort of Tableau, right?
Yeah, Tableau.
So how much will you rate yourself on Power BI?
I'm not I have not done the projects on Power BI, but I'm learning it, so I I cannot rate at the moment, but
And what about Tableau?
and I can rate 9 out of 10.
Okay, okay. Which one do you like, Power BI or Tableau?
I'm currently working on Tableau only. Power BI, I'm like doing the online course. I am not started working on live project at the moment. So I have only kind of understanding like how to rearrange the different worksheet in Power BI and do some cosmetic changes, but not very
Okay,
well.
so when you develop a report,
Mhm.
what do you expect somebody to provide you with so that you can develop a report? What all things you will get
I
from them?
will expect the confirmation of relevant fields that they want to use into the visualization. Second thing is, if they have their own matrix, then that would be helpful, because while writing a SQL query I can quickly check the output and compare with the matrix whether my query is showing me a closed or correct data or not. And third one is like, as a part of visualization, like what kind of charts they want me to use, or if they do not have suggestion, I can prepare the sample dashboard so that they can, choose among those. And yeah, that's it. And third part is like a prototype is very important. So before, working on actual dashboard, I would expect, if they do have any existing prototype handy, then I would expect that. If not, then I can use a subset of data to prepare a, no a dummy report with the all the relevant calculations in Tableau, so that it can be quickly helpful. It will take less time to implement the same dashboard on finalized query. So this is what I
Okay.
expect from the business
So
users.
Akshay, I think I've got the data points. Okay, so you got a sense of it. And as I told you, I need to rush for another call. So I may have another round with one of our guys. Okay, Vijay. The question I have is, why are you looking for a change?
Change is here. As I said, I'm doing the same work I done with the previous employer before doing the job. And second, before joining here, they promised like there will be a general shift, but actually I'm working in night shift here, like from 5 to 2 or 3 in the night. And sometime I attend a call at 3 and 4 a.m. It's been more than 7 months now. So that is a challenging for me. So that's why I'm looking out change.
Okay, that's fine. Actually, I think thanks for your time. I know it's I'm little in a rush today,
Yeah, no
but
problem.
we will. I will set something up. I'll have a internal discussion with the team once, and
Mm-hmm.
then according we'll get back to you. Is that okay?
Yeah, yeah, completely fine.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you,
Okay.
Tushar.
Yeah. Thanks,
Thank
Ron.
you. Sure, thank you, Tushar, for joining. So let us get back to you. Okay.
Sure, sure, definitely. Thank you.